I called in the heater, and that is our guy, part of the Saints News Network, part of SI Now, and one of the hosts of the Bayou Blitz 412 podcast. And that is our guy, Kyle T. Mosley. Kyle, how's it going?
Hey, man, look, I'm glad I could be able to fill in like Mariano Rivera to be able to come off the bench and close it out for Ross, man. So
I'm about to say I was gonna go more, Rick Wild Thing Vaughn, but Mariano Rivera is a pretty good comparison as well, man.
Yeah, look, it's October, right? And it's ready to have some good pitching performance. Let's make sure we have some good quarterbacking going on in the Superdome on tomorrow.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. It's absolutely crucial to have that, especially against the New York Giants. But looking specifically at Jameis Winston the last 3 weeks, it looked like to a certain extent we got to see more of the feast as opposed to the famine that we saw in week 2 when they took on the New England Patriots. What have been your overall takeaways a month into the season of what we've seen from Jameis Winston?
Well, it's not too shocking for me because I believe I wrote at the beginning of the season that I think it was going to take Sean Payton as well as Jameis to kind of feel their way out with their new relationship, probably by game 6 or 7 of the season, right? I think also Jameis has some limitations, not because of himself, but because of his wide receivers. Those guys are not getting the separation that's necessary, right? You look at Callaway, who is the number 1 wide receiver penciled in at this time. He only has 2.3 yards of separation, and defenders are only giving him a 4.1 yard cushion off the line of scrimmage. So until these guys are able to really give him some targets to be able to pass to, it's going to be more of the same. Now, the good thing is we have a strong run game with Alvin Kamara. Tony Jones Jr. is doing such an admirable job, but also Taysom Hill is going to have to be keyed in on more. I think this team at this time, the Saints are more, I think almost 57% run versus 43% on the pass, right? So if you look at what the Saints can do, let's key in on the strongest points. If it's going to be the rush, let's continue with the rush and continue to put some pressure on the opposing defenses and wear those guys down.
Talking now, Kyle T. Mosley, part of the Saints News Network. And one of the things that I've just noticed is you brought up the fact you're not seeing him with the top flight wide receivers like a Michael Thomas and also Traquan Smith. He's currently out as well. But we're seeing more of him utilize the tight ends, a lot like what we saw Drew Brees do in the early 2010s with guys like Jimmy Graham. You're seeing him get to those big body guys. Hell, I mean, you saw the miracle pass he had on Sunday against the Patriots. Like, it looked like, he's definitely utilizing those guys as a security blanket for right now.
Yeah, not so much in the New England game, but, of course, the first 2 games of the season. If Juwan Johnson and Troutman can really keep on stepping up and present themselves as good targets, especially down the seams, I think this is a good game to do it. The linebacking core for the Giants is suffering right now with the loss of Martinez. They have been susceptible to tight end really performing well against them through the first 3 games of the season themselves. I think this is a really good game for the tight ends to be able to come in and show up for Winston and help out in the offense. But also, man, the Saints have to really do better at not putting themselves in compromising positions as far as the third downs and longs. The careless penalties, the false starts, some of the plays are not being executed well on first down. And right now the Saints are not doing well converting on third down. I think they are really low on the totem pole in the NFL right now when it comes to third down conversion, only at 38%. But I really see unless they are able to really put themselves in better position, help Jameis Winston out in that area, or even put themselves closer where it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 at least, to be able to give themselves a fighting chance. to sustain some of these drives, it's going to be difficult. So I hope Sean Payton is looking at that to be able to rectify that situation, because other than, putting it all on the wide receivers or the tight ends, they really have to be able to really give themselves better fighting chances when it comes to third down.
And Kyle, I think obviously looking at the way this team has played so far on the offensive side of football, I think the biggest strength for this team has been the defense. And I think with the fact without David Onyemata for the first 6 games, and then you lose somebody like a Marcus Davenport, who looked good in the first game until he got injured, which felt inevitable, where he has a really good game, then gets hurt, and then he's out for several weeks. And now you're having to rely on a first-round draft pick like Peyton Turner. What have you seen from this defense that's made you kind of look and say, hey, I'm pretty impressed, especially heading into a Giants game where Daniel Jones is going to be very much kind of hamstrung with the fact that he's going to be without 2 of his star wide receivers?
I think the Giants are in trouble. The Saints defense is the key. They're the strongest point of the whole team. Malcolm Jenkins talked about it in his presser, as well as Marshawn Lattimore. He brought it up as well. But Clint, think about going back to last season and the season before last. The defense started to be able to gain more momentum, and they did very good against the run, but now they're doing very good against the pass. The addition of Paulson Adebo, the rookie, you can't get him off the field right now. I know they brought in Bradley Roby as well as Trufant, but Adebo is staying. He's keeping that job right now opposite of Lattimore. So I think the defense and DeMario Davis is just playing like Batman out there. Don't you think, man? Look,
yeah.
He's flying around. He's doing he's even defending passes. I was like, man, what are we seeing in DeMario Davis is just outstanding play. I know Cam Jordan doesn't have all of the sack totals that you love to see, but his consistency, his constant pressure on the quarterback and getting to make the quarterbacks uneasy is going to be duplicated in this game as well, because Daniel Jones, he can't hold on to the football well. He also is very susceptible to getting sacked. But the one thing about him is that you have to look out for his legs. He's very good in rushing the football. Matter of fact, he's the leading rusher for the team. So the Saints are going to have to really play really disciplined ball when it comes to allowing him to leak out. But I love what I see in this Saints defense, and if they can keep it up, the defense may be holding serve for the team throughout the rest of the season.
Talking right now with Kyle Mosley, Saints News Network and SI. And while the defenses look good, I think the offensive line has been something that's a little bit more suspect with guys like Teron Armstead. And then you have Eric McCoy. They're out for the foreseeable future. On the Friday injury report, they were listed as out, did not practice at all this week. Seeing those guys out probably hurts the offensive line a whole hell of a lot. And that's probably going to put some concern on Saints fans, because Jameis Winston, according to the injury report this week, had a knee injury. He was full practice, full go, but that's something that I think we probably are going to be monitoring and obviously be concerned about.
Yeah, I think one of the Patriots came in low on Jameis in that game. I was surprised they didn't get a flag on it. But Jameis, I'm not too concerned about his knee. I think he's going to be fine. I think when you look at Throckmorton, he's been performing well in that guard role. Hurst is going to fill in for Teron Armstead. I don't feel too much pressure in this game that things can't handle what's happening up front with the Giants. If the one key for the Saints is to just continue rushing the football. Now, if Coach Payton doesn't get impatient and he stays true to really keying on Alvin Kamara and those guys in the backfield being able to pick up some first downs and gain some yardage on the ground and eating up the clock, I think the Saints are going to really come away with a decisive win against the Giants. but they also have to be able to protect the ball. I'm not saying that we're going to see another 100-yard game from Jameis Winston, God forbid, but I do believe that it's going to be more of a controlled and sustained, meaning drives is going to be necessary for the Saints to be able to win against the Giants on Sunday.
And heading into this contest, I mean, the New York Giants, it feels like it's going to be a Saints win. I have, like, full disclosure, I picked them in a Survivor League I'm in, and I absolutely am, like, dreading that because, again, we always talk about it. Like, one of the golden rules of fantasy is to never pick a player from your favorite team because then you're going to wind up having a really horrible time, and you don't want to go with your heart on a Survivor League. I want you to kind of calm me down and make sure you can tell me that this was a really good idea to pick this contest between the Giants and the Saints and having the Saints win to keep advancing in this Survivor League I'm in.
Yeah, look, I think you're good, Clint. Look, the Saints are a 7-point favorite by Vegas, but I only see the Saints losing this game like they've lost games in years past, and I'm knocking on wood here, guys. I don't think the Saints are going to have a letdown in the dome that's coming up. I think when you look at why New Orleans will be able to win this game, they are a better team. And we have a better coaching staff as well. And with all the fans returning to the Superdome in over a year, being able to cheer for the team, route is on its way. I believe the Saints are going to really double those points of Vegas, but they have to do it by protecting the football, keeping the sustained drives going on, and making sure that they are able to convert on those third downs. And those are just my keys, and I'm going to keep on harping on those keys. So you can get down from the Crescent City connection, man. It's going to be good. You're going to be all right, Clint.
That's what I was wanting to hear, Kyle. And looking at the team itself, it's like they're very much poised right now because you've got the game against New York that feels like a win. And then you have next week the Washington football team that always just has that, like, obviously we all still have that PTSD from the RG3 debut from many moons ago. But this isn't that team. You don't have that rookie quarterback that's going to go off. It feels like you have every chance to be 4-1 heading into the bye week, and then you have Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks. How big is that for this team to be 4-1 heading into the bye, potentially?
It's huge, number one, because a lot of people that I have talked to and some of the national writers had the team at this point 1-2. Remember, they were supposed to lose to New England. They were supposed to lose to the Packers. The game everybody thought they would win was the Panthers. Look, the opposite world. We would call this a bizarro world, really, going on with the Saints early on in the season. But going 4-1 is going to be very crucial for the team. I think going up to Seattle is not going to be a difficult task like it used to be, but it is going to be prime time, right? I do like the Saints' chances against the Washington football team because they have been discombobulated on defense. That defense should have been the strength of their team, and they haven't been able to really get it together. So I like what the Saints are able to put down on paper, but I also like what I see in the leadership from Jordan, Jenkins, you have DeMario, you have all of those guys, even Kamara. Those guys are showing up and showing out when they need to. And I think really Saints fans, just be rest assured you're going to see the Saints continue to win in a different type of way than we've seen in the past 15 seasons under Drew Brees.
And Kyle, I got one more for you real quick is like, so when it comes to Michael Thomas and Will Lutz, those two are very much kind of in that limbo, if you will. I think when do you expect those two to be back?
Well, look, from talking to John Hendricks and those guys, I think it may be safer to say after the bye sometime you'll see Michael Thomas. I'm not too sure about Lutz. I think we really need to see Lutz sooner than later, right? I'm not too confident in Rosas. And I don't want to be a negative Ninny when it comes to Rosas, but I think his confidence was kind of shaken in that Patriots game. But if there's a person that we really need, it's going to be the big O, David Amimata. And his return after that 6-game suspension is just going to strengthen the Saints defense. Now, Clint, I could be wrong about this. If the receivers do not show well this coming Sunday, the Saints may be in the market for a receiver. And I'm just putting it out there that that's the possibility. I haven't heard any inside rumbling, so therefore don't have Sean Payton call me on this. But I like what they can do, but they haven't been able to put it all together right now. And if that continues, the Saints are going to need some help.
Kyle, thank you so much for coming on, my man. We'll talk to you down the road.
Hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you, and have a great weekend.